Welcome once again to the BCHS Bear Network. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. As every week, we interview Coach Colby Dills, the JV head coach, and also a couple of his players. And Colby, I'll let you go ahead and tell us who you brought today. And
on the far end down here, we got Landon Scott. He plays, he's a halfback and plays outside linebacker. Right here, we got Jonathan Stosby. He's defensive end for us.
Very good. We'll talk to those guys in a minute. Let's talk about the game this week. You finished out your regular season unbeaten. You got a little payback over Dalton last week, 60-7 or something like that to final. But last game here, last game of the JV season, Ray County, another big win, 53-12. And you started out, the team did, hot from the get-go. And Alex Walker was dead on with his passes and had some great receivers, and they made things happen once they caught that ball.
Yeah, they did a good job executing. Alex, like I've said before, he knows the playbook as good as anybody, and he does a good job recognizing what the defense is trying to do and getting the ball to our playmakers. They loaded the box and blitzed a lot, so it wasn't a good night to be running the ball. But to counter that, we threw it all over the place. So they did a good job executing on that.
Boy, there's a lot of passing there, and I'm doing the chain gang on the far side on the visitor side, so I'm right there among their coaches and players and their coaches. And boy, your future looks bright with this group here because they're killing us.
Oh yeah.
They'd had some big wins themselves there. Landon, last night on the PA, they were calling your name an awful lot. I assume you're the Scott they was calling there.
Yeah.
You had a good game there, didn't you, bud?
Yeah, I had a lot of tackles. I had a scoop and score, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sure did there. And who was the player that knocked the ball loose on that?
I think that was Thatcher.
Thatcher, yeah.
Yeah, Thatcher knocked it loose and he scooped and scored on it.
And you were in position to just pick it up and run. There was nobody that could touch you once you got the ball there. Where'd you play middle school ball at?
Lake Forest.
Lake Forest, down for Coach Green?
Yeah.
Had a pretty good team down there too, didn't you? So you're a sophomore this year or freshman?
No, freshman.
Freshman, okay, well that's good. You know, we like them young guys there. Jonathan Sosby there. What position you play, Jonathan? Defensive end. Did you have a good game last night?
Yeah, with tackles, forced fumble.
The referees, I was talking to the referees, I'm right there near them a lot, and they said there's a lot of talking going on out there. Were you guys the ones doing the talking, or were they talking to you, or both? Exchanging a few barbs there with them?
Yeah.
They were a mouthy bunch last night, that's to say the least, I guess. And their fans were too, like some of our fans were there. I asked you the other day, Colby, when it's time for the JV to practice, you know, you're out there with the varsity, but then you have your own separate practice on top of that.
Yeah, well, we actually hadn't the past couple of weeks, honestly.
Yeah.
Just by the time we get done with varsity, we've been tired. So and Thursday we usually would go walk through after school, but varsity wise we've been going in the morning. So JV's not been able to practice the last 2 weeks.
Well, 8-0 now, and that's it. The regular season's finished because the playoffs start next week, of course.
Yeah, 8-0, and I told the guys before the game, it's like, you know, no matter what the level is, whether it's middle school, JV, whatever, like you want to compete and win, and you know, that was something that they had to play for and to be proud of, and I'm proud of them for having a great season.
Well, they sure did. Seems like a lot of running clock games there too in the second half. You got your year-to-date stats there. You want to cover some of those with give some highlights there?
Yeah, Alex Walker, he threw for 1,300 yards, almost 1,400 yards.
Wow.
Yeah, he had 18 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Romarion Taylor had about 600 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns. Jarius Rogers had close to 500 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns. Marius had almost 400 yards, 6 touchdowns. Max Wilson, who we lost to varsity-wise, he had 3 touchdowns and about 300 yards. You know, that's just some of the guys that stick out on offense. And even Landon, he ran the ball some. He had 3 touchdowns on the season. So
okay.
Plenty of guys scored offensively for us.
Well, Jarius Rogers getting a lot of playing time now on the varsity with some guys out on defense and all.
Yeah. We'll probably have to use him this week for Maryville, and then going into the playoffs, so we'll have to play somewhere.
And he's shown he's a very capable receiver too. You get the ball to him, he's going to catch it.
And he's actually moved back to punt returner for us. So
wow.
We'd like to try to get the ball in his hands as much as we can.
Where'd you play middle school ball at, Jonathan? Ocoee. So we've got some from 2 different schools there. You play other sports, either one? You play other sports here at Bradley besides football?
No, I just play football.
Football alone. So you're one.
So he likes to fish. He's a big fisher.
Oh, okay. Well, teach a man to fish and geek the
Sometimes
rest
he
of
don't come to practice because he's fishing.
And we can't have that there then. Coach, what's your takeaway from this season? You know, let me ask you this too now. Last year we lost in one game to Dalton, I believe it was. So is this your first unbeaten season? Have you had other unbeaten seasons or?
No, this is the first one. My 3 years, the first 2 years, both losses were to Dalton.
Okay.
And this year we went undefeated. So JV teams lost 2 games in the last 3 years. And, you know, that's not nothing for me. That's the players. And the players out there making plays. We just try to put them in the right positions.
Who do you have helping you for the most part on the JV when you're during the game?
Coach Stanford, he calls the offense. He's done a good job. This year I've called the defense. Coach Floyd's out there helping me out, giving me pointers and stuff. Coach Payne does the O-line. Easton Clark does a really good job for us too. He helps out the linebackers. And they'll the varsity coaches they'll kind of let me, Easton, Coach Stanford kind of do our thing, and they're right there. But you know, obviously if they see something they don't like, they'll jump in and say something too. But it's really just a whole team effort. And I've actually seen a lot of teams we've played, like for some reason the varsity staff for other teams don't even come to the games. Ray County,
yeah.
I don't even think their
They weren't
head coach
there.
was there.
And Dalton wasn't there last week.
It doesn't matter where we play. He's coming to the game because it's his team, his program. So you know he definitely wants to be there to support.
Well, he's dedicated, and even though he's not the main coach last night, you could hear his shrill voice.
Oh, yeah.
Many a time during every game. You know, he wants to get a point across, and he does that. So now next year's schedule, you don't know what it will be yet, but typically you're going to play the team we play on Friday in the varsity. We'll play them in Monday unless it's a long road game or something there.
Yeah, and some of the teams we don't play, like Dalton, we've got a pretty good system worked out. We'll go back and forth with them. East Hamilton as well, but you never know. You know, they're not any contracts or anything, so you never know who's going to play or back out or switch. But we'll continue to play the best teams we can get on the schedule, and I think that's how you make your program better.
Absolutely, because a lot of those guys that you have had last year are now integral parts of our varsity, and these guys will be next year too. So I know Coach Floyd's looking to get them up there and get that taste of success in your mouth. 8-1 on the varsity, 8-0 on the JV. That's a pretty good sign for the future. And like some of those guys from Rhea were telling me last night, man, we can't stop these guys here. Alex last night really, and it's not all the quarterback. I told Damon this morning, I was talking with him. The quarterback's got to throw the pass, and he's got to be accurate, but that receiver has got to run the right route to the right depth, make the right cut or whatever, and get open, and sometimes turn into a defender if the pass is underthrown or whatever. But you got some great receivers out there. I mean, we saw them all last night. And Jamarian Taylor, he is basically a running back, but he can catch that ball and take off with it.
Like I said, Ray just came down and played zero, and they were not going to give up the run. So to counter that, we were able to attack him through the air. And Coach Stanford did a good job getting Ram out in space and getting them some screens and throwing them some flares and stuff. So, and Alex, I can't brag on him enough. He's a really smart kid, and he'll see what the defense is giving us, and he'll change the play. And he's really bright. We look forward to him in the spring competing for the varsity job next year after Aiden graduates.
He's sort of like a coach on the field out there for you.
Yeah. He's really intelligent.
Wow. Well, the future sure looks bright with all these young guys, and I know Damon's chomping at the bit to get some more of them called up. He's got a young team on defense, especially had one senior starter Friday night. That's Blake Johnson. That was the only one that started as a senior on defense, and obviously the offense is clicking. 42 points in that game. We had a couple of defensive lapses there that cost us, but it wasn't a reaching game. It's all on the line Friday night, and you guys are going to be a big part of that coming up next year. So encourage you to keep working out, hit that weight room, catch all the fish you can, eat those fish. That's good protein there for you and all that. And Landon, do you have brothers and sisters that play sports, or are you the only one, or?
I'm the only one, but I have a younger sister and an older brother.
Younger sister, no, so you're the middle child. Then who are your parents?
My dad's name is Joshua Scott. My mom's name is Hope Scott.
Did they play sports at all when they were in high school?
My dad did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Jonathan, you got brothers and sisters?
I got a younger brother and a younger sister.
So you're the old man of the group then, huh? Do they play sports of any kind?
My little sister plays softball.
Okay. Okay, well, athletic family there then. Well, Coach, as always, thank you again for joining us all season long. Jonathan, Landon, appreciate you guys taking time out of class. I know you don't mind missing class for a little while, do you? to be here to talk about this on the Bear Network. But it's an important part of the program here. We appreciate you guys doing that and supporting football there. Reminder, these games or these interviews can be seen on Facebook as well as YouTube. Just look for BCHS Bear Network, and you can see all of our interviews there, and they'll stay out there for quite some time. You can go back and look those over and over. And they'll also be posted to Twitter for a link there, so you can view it on Twitter. And until next time, this is Gary Ownbey for Coach Dills, for Jonathan, for Len, saying God bless and go Bears.